Flora, a young woman in her 20s, recounts her harrowing experience with her younger sister, Laura, from many years ago. Sitting alone in her home, Flora reminisces about the events that led to the disappearance of her only sibling without a trace. Flora explains, "Our mother passed away 3 months ago, leaving me confined to this house with dwindling supplies of food and water. I am bound to stay here, awaiting death by starvation and thirst, but I refuse to venture outside where the beast from the cursed tree waits. It took my sister Laura, and now it waits for me." Flora begins her tale. At the age of 8, and Laura being 6, they lived with their hard-working mother who managed the attached farm. Their father had abandoned them, never to be seen again. The mother toiled tirelessly to provide for them, with the girls helping as much as they could. Their home was isolated, surrounded by only a nearby forest where the girls would often play, but never strayed too deeply. Their mother spent her days caring for the farm animals and making dairy products to sell at the market, using the money for necessities. One day, as the sisters played in the farm, Laura ran into the forest, intending to hide. Flora followed until they found themselves in a desert-like area, an odd sight in those woods. Most disturbing was a strange, dry, and moldy tree with rotting bark. No birds, no breeze, just an eerie stillness augmented by animal carcasses. Flora felt a sense of dread and suggested they leave. However, Laura, seemingly enchanted, pleaded to stay. Reluctantly, Flora agreed. The sisters sat and talked about their absent father, imagining a life filled with new toys and clothes. Suddenly, they heard an electrical buzzing. Startled, they looked around but saw no one. Laura, curious, urged Flora to check behind the tree. Despite her fear, Flora complied, and they found an array of beautiful toys and dresses, everything Laura had wished for. Flora, terrified, wanted to leave, but Laura insisted on taking the newfound treasures. Their mother noticed nothing until one day she scolded Laura harshly. Laura fled to the forest, with Flora following, knowing exactly where she would find her, by the cursed tree. Flora hid and watched as Laura talked to an old woman who seemed to have emerged from the tree's bark. The woman had terrifying features, eyeless, with black decayed teeth, and clawed hands. She grabbed Laura, pulling her towards the tree. Flora tried to save her sister, but was overpowered. The woman's monstrous form dragged Laura away, while Flora fled in terror. Flora relayed this to her mother, who responded with dread, murmuring about sacrifices and loss. The next day, she held a mourning ceremony for Laura, insisting she was still alive. Years passed, and at 16, Flora decided to confront the tree, cutting it down with an axe. Instead of ending the curse, she released a dark presence. Since then, the entity has waited outside her home. With her mother gone and supplies nearly exhausted, Flora awaits the inevitable, knowing the malevolent force from the cursed tree remains, waiting to claim her as it did Laura.